Now welcome class 12th CBSE student. I am going to start your class in my channel Sci-Learn. All the videos included here are based on the revised syllabus of CBSE. According to that syllabus, the first lesson is the sexual reproduction in flowering plant. Sexual reproduction, it means the reproduction in which both the sexes are needed. The two sexes are there. One is called the male sex and one is called the female sex. The branch of the biology where we studied about the parts of the plant is called the morphology. Plant morphology. What is the first topic here is the plant morphology. All the words used in explanation, explanation of the terms are generally having some meaning. Morphology, here the word consists of two words. One is called the morphe, it means the form, and second is the locus, this means the study. Okay, what is the total meaning of the term in totality? The meaning is the study of forms and features of different plant organ. Forms and features of plant organ. What is the form and feature? That is the root, stem, leaves, flowers, etc., etc., and their development. So what is plant morphology? The study of features and forms of plant parts such as root, stem, leaves, flower, and their development is called plant morphology. So that is a simple definition for morphology. Then we have to talk about the flowers. Flowers, it actually related with the plant group that is called the angiosperm. Angiosperms. So who are termed as the angiosperms? Angiosperm is a plant group, a large plant group having flower, and they produce seeds enclosed with carpel. So large plants group having flowers and seeds which are enclosed in carpel. What is carpel? We have to study it further. So that is about the angiosperm. Okay, the angiosperm is the flowering plant. Okay, carpel we have to study it later. Now let's move towards the flower. If the angiosperm is flowering plant, then what is the flower? Flowers are the decorative or attractive part of the plant. It is fascinating part of the plant. What is flower? Flower is a fascinating organ of angiosperm. But what actually flowers are? Flowers actually क्या है? Okay, so flowers are actually modified shoots. A flower is a modified shoot. Shoot is the uppermost part of the branch. Uppermost part of the branch get turned in different pattern to make a flower. The flower is a modified shoot which is specialized for sexual reproduction. What is the role of this modified shoot? Which is specialized for sexual reproduction. In plants. Okay, flower, as I told you, the most decorative or attractive part of the plant. Okay, it is the attractive part of the angiosperm also, but it is the modified shoot and it has a special function, specified function, that is called the sexual reproduction. Now, what is the sexual reproduction? Before that, one homework question is for you. You have to collect at least 5 names of ornamental flowers. Also, must calculate in 5 names of flowers using the social activity or the cultural activity. Cultural activities such as the festivals, etc. Social activity, marriage, etc. So you have to calculate at least the name of any 5 flowers that is used for that purpose. If we talk about the flower, one important term we are unable to miss here, that is called the floriculture. Flori is the word used for the flower and culture is the word is for the cultivation. So what is the simple meaning of this term? It is called cultivation of flower. Cultivation of flower. Cultivation of flower is called the floriculture. After the 12th class, if you move towards the agriculture, so this is one most important branch of the agriculture, that is called the floriculture, and there are lots of tasks and future in this field also. You must consider once this field also. We are talking about the flower, and flower is important for sexual reproduction. So next question is that what is sexual reproduction? Sexual word is related with the sex, and we know very well there are 2 types of sexes are there. One is called the male sex and one is called the female sex. In the first lesson that is reduced by the CBSE in the new syllabus, that is about the asexual reproduction. What is the asexual reproduction actually is? Asexual reproduction is the reproduction in which in which only one sex is important. But in the sexual reproduction, both the sex organ is important, that is called the male and the female. But what is the importance of reproduction actually? That is the question. Why the reproduction is important? Because reproduction is the process of production of offspring. What is the sexual reproduction or the reproduction? Sexual reproduction is the process of production of offsprings. If these offsprings are produced by means of sex, then it is called the sexual reproduction. Why it is important? Because it is the important part of the race of the life. Race of the life, that is called the self-perpetuation. Okay, it is important for the self-perpetuation. The most important thing in the life cycle of any organism. They have to be part of the race that is going on in the earth for the survival or transfer from one generation to the next generation. That is the importance of the sexual reproduction. Okay, this is the sexual reproduction. In plant, the sexual reproduction is related directly with the flower only. In plant, flower is responsible for the sexual reproduction. So let's move towards the flower and we have to study the general introduction about the flower. Flower, as we know that it is a modified shoot. Flower is a modified shoot. Shoot is modified in colored part and that is called the flower. We know the definition of flower also. So what is the flower? The modified shoot. Now see the general introduction of the flower. General introduction or general outline of the flower. So what actually flower is? A flower is actually composed of 4 whorl. But on the part where the whorl is a stand, we have to start from there. A flower consists of one stalk. This is called pedestal. What is pedestal? It is a stalk of flower. Stalk of flower. Okay. Now pedestal swollen up to form a cone-like structure. This is called thalamus, or it is also called receptacle. Okay. It also called torus. So this is the swollen part of the flower, the pedestal, or which gives the base for the flower. On this node, the whole whorl of the flower is present. The whole whorl of the flower is present on the space. We are able to classify the flower into two parts. Actually, a flower is divided into two parts. One is called non-essential part, non-essential part or non-essential whorl. Okay, and another one is called essential whorl. Essential whorl. As it is very much clear by name only, essential, it is needless, and non-essential, it is not needed. It means it is not needed. Why it is present in the flower? No, it is not needed for the sexual purpose. Essential whorl is important for the sexual reproduction, but this is not directly related with the sexual reproduction. The sexual unit is not present here. So it is called the non-essential, and it is also called accessory. Accessory whorl. Okay, the four whorls are present in the flower. The four whorls are present in the flower, in which two are called the accessory whorl and two is called the essential whorl. The accessory whorl is called calyx and corolla. The essential whorl is called androecium and gynoecium. So this is the four whorl of the flower. This is first, this is second, this is third, and this is the fourth whorl of the flower. The flower is composed of four whorls, four circles, which is arranged on this thalamus. Thalamus is the swollen part of the pedestal, and pedestal is the star of the flower. Now let's move firstly towards the arrangement of this four whorls on the flower, or arrangement of four whorls on the thalamus of the flower. The outermost part is somehow like this. This is called calyx. Calyx is a plural unit. Calyx is actually the group of floral leaves, and the floral leaves is actually called sepals. These floral leaves are called the sepals. Sepals, it is a singular unit, it is a plural unit. Now what is the importance about this? First, it is present in the outermost whorl. Outermost whorl, or we call it the first whorl. Second, it is green in color. And if it is green in color, it means it consists of pigment called chlorophyll. If the chlorophyll is present, then it is responsible for photosynthesis. So this is about the calyx. It is the outermost whorl, last whorl or the first whorl from the outer side. It is green in color and it is contain the chlorophyll, so perform photosynthesis also. After this, the colored part of the flower is present. And this colored part of the flower is called corolla. It is the plural unit. In the florid leaf, it is called petals. Singular unit is the petal, or floral leaf is the petal. And what is important about that? First, this is the second whorl, or it is innermost. After this, the first whorl, it is the second. It is the second whorl. And important, it is the colored part of the flower. It is colored part of the flower. And if it is colored part of the flower, what is its role in plant? It is actually responsible for pollination. It is responsible for pollination. What is pollination? We have to study it further in the same lesson only. That it is important for the pollination. This is second whorl, first whorl, then is second whorl. Now what about the next whorl? Next whorl is present here. Okay. somehow like this. This is called the accessory whorl of the flower. This accessory whorl of the flower contains two parts. One is called androecium. Androecium is the male part of the flower. What is the androecium? Androecium is actually the floral leaf of androecium is called stamen. The singular unit is the stamen. And what is important of stamen? It is the male reproductive part of the flower. Male reproductive part of the flower. The stamen, it is composed by two parts. One is called filament and another one is called anther. It is composed of two parts, that is called the filament and the anther. Okay, the last whorl of the flower is called gynoecium. Gynoecium is the female part of the flower. In singular unit or floral leaf of gynoecium is called carpel or pistil. Okay, it is the female reproductive part of the flower. And it is actually made by three parts, that is called the style, stigma and ovary. It is made up of the three parts. So this is the position of three whorl in the flower. Now let's move about the detail of that. One repetition of all these in the flower. We are going to repeat all this again. We know about some types of the flower. Okay. Now what is more about this? A flower is composed of pedestal. What is pedestal? It is the stalk of flower. It is the stalk of flower. Then pedestal swells up in the shape of cone, that is called thalamus. Swell in the form of the cone, and that cone is called that thalamus or receptacle, or it is also called torus. Now what is this? The swollen part of pedestal. Okay, what happened? The next is the whorl of the flower. Okay, next is the whorl of the flower. The whorl of the flower is divided into two parts. One is called non-essential, and other is called essential. Okay, essential, non-essential whorl and essential whorl. The non-essential whorl is further divided into, it is also called accessory whorl. Okay, it is divided into two parts. One is called calyx, one is called corolla. Okay, what is calyx? Calyx in singular unit or floral leaf. Floral leaf is sepal. Floral leaf here is petals, or it is plural unit. It is a singular unit. Okay, it is the outermost whorl. Outermost whorl or first whorl. Outermost or first whorl. It is green in color, and if it is green, it is responsible for photosynthesis. This is the peculiar characteristic of the calyx. Now what about the petals? Petal, it is the second whorl. Second whorl, it is colored part of the flower. Colored part. Now what is the role of this? It is responsible for pollination, transfer of pollen from one place to particular place. So this is about the non-essential vowel or accessory vowel. Now what about the essential vowel? Essential vowel is also classified into two parts. It is essential because it is directly taking part in the process of reproduction. One is called endoecium. Another one is called gynoecium. Endoecium is the third vowel. Gynoecium is the fourth vowel. The singular unit of floral leaf of the endoecium is called stamen. It is male reproductive part of the flower, and it is composed of filament and anther. Filament and anther. What about the gynoecium? It is fourth vowel. In floral leaf, or the singular unit is called carpel or pistil. Okay, it is a female reproductive part of the flower. Female reproductive part of the flower, which is composed of ovary, style and stigma. Okay, so this is about the outline of the flower. Flower is actually composed of four parts, four whorls, from outside to inside: calyx, corolla, endoecium and the gynoecium. But in each and every flower this type of arrangement is present? No, it is not important. Actually, we have the two types of the flower on the basis of the presence or the absence of the reproductive part. Now let's move towards that. On the basis of different type of the sexual organ present in plant or absent in plant, the various types of flower are there. If a flower is composed of only one type of sexual organ, then it is called unisexual flower. This is the classification on the basis of presence and absence of sexual part in the flower. Uni means one, sex is the sex organ. The unisexual flower, it means flower having only one sex organ. Unisexual flower. Flowers having only one sexual organ. Maybe it contain stamen, or maybe it contain the pistil. If it contain stamen, then it is called staminate flower. Staminate flower, it means flower having only stamen, that is the male reproductive organ. In other words, we call it the male flower. Male flower. If only the female reproductive part is present, then it is called the pistillate flower. Pistillate flower. Pistillate flower, it means the female flower. Female flower. Because both the sex organ is separate, it means it contains two types of the flower. Okay, दो तरह के flowers present है, two type of the flower. One is the male flower, one is the female flower. So it is also called incomplete flower. Incomplete flower. So all this type of the plant consists two type of the plants, one having the male flower, one having the female flower. Example is mulberry. Example is mulberry. Okay. Now another type of flower is called the bisexual flower. Bi means two, means both the sex organ is present in the flower, so it is called the bisexual flower. Because both the sex organ is present in the flower, it is also called complete flower. But one important term is used for this type of the flower, that is called hermaphrodite flower. Hermaphrodite flower. This is the general introduction about the flower. In this lesson, further we have to study about the male reproductive part of the flower, all the detail, how the male reproductive part develop and form the pollen grain. Also, we have to study about the female reproductive part of the flower, how the female reproductive part of the flower grown and form the female reproductive unit. The male reproductive unit is called the pollen grain. The female reproductive is called the ova, how they get fertilized and they produce their offspring. That we have to see in our next video. In next video, we have to complete the topic about the stamen, the structure of the stamen, pollen grain, anther sac, how the anther sac is developed, what is the TS of the anther sac, etc. etc. Dear student, you have to do one thing. You have to like, you have to put comment, you have to share, and most important thing, you have to subscribe my videos and press bell icon. You know very well, after subscription you get all the information about the uploading video. All for today. Okay, bye bye.